pieces of legislation today. And I know everyone loves markups, particularly Senator Johnson says he loves markups. So we're going to have a really good time this morning. But we're going to try to get through this as expeditiously as possible. So we'll start with consideration of S-854. This is a bill that Senator Peters and I have worked on together. It's called the Risky Research Review Act. We're prompted to do this work because the CIA, the FBI, and the DOE all say with varying degrees of confidence that they fear COVID-19 could have started as a lab leak. I think no one will ever know with 100% certainty, but quite a few legitimate scientists without an axe to grind, without partisanship, believe it could have come from the lab. The current administration has banned gain-of-function research. I'm not so sure a ban is the best way because I think actually having humans look at the research and decide whether the research is good or bad would be better than an outright ban. Right now we have an outright ban waiting for a policy, but any policy that's going to be law has the effect for a much longer period of time than an administration. One reason we think we need more than the current policy, though, is that Kevin Esvelt actually was able to go online. He's a scientist from MIT, buy the parts to Spanish flu and create the Spanish flu by buying DNA from 10 different sources online. So I think we do need to do more, and that's what this law would do. Creates a high-risk life sciences panel that's appointed by the president, tries to remove any sort of conflicts of interest. And we've passed this, the last Congress, we passed it 13-1 without amendments, and I hope we can again today. Senator Peters?
No. I support the bill and thank the chairman for working together on this bill.
Any amendments or discussion? If not, we'll call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Do you have proxy or no? Keep going. We don't have a proxy.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
Aye.
Senator Ernst.
Aye.
Senator Moody.
Aye.
Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan.
Aye.
Senator Blumenthal.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman.
Aye.
Senator Kim.
No by proxy.
Senator Gallego.
No.
Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Senator Scott. Senator Scott. Risky research. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 11, the nays are 2. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 1, the nays are 1. In this vote, the yeas are 11, the nays are 2, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item on the agenda will be S-855, the Royalty Transparency Act. This is done to try to remove conflict of interest or at least expose potential conflict of interest from government scientists. One of the reasons for putting this bill together was that Open the Books through a Freedom of Information Act, it discovered that 2,400 NIH scientists received more than $300 million in royalty payments during the last decade. It's an average royalty payment of $135,000 per scientist. But it's probably worse than that. I think some would get millions at a time and some got very little at a time. But I think the knowledge of where your royalties come from, who's paying you, and whether or not the subjects that you're voting on, if you're on some kind of committee, whether there's a conflict, are very important. And this is basically a reporting bill. It passed unanimously last time without amendment, and I'm hoping we can do so again. Any discussion or amendments? Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Aye.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst.
Aye.
Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan.
Aye.
Senator Blumenthal.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman.
Aye.
Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
13-0. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is S-269, Ending Improper Payments to Deceased People Act. This is Senator Peters' bill. Would you like to speak?
Oh, I think we moved on.
What's that?
I think we go
Yeah,
to-
I think we're fine to go to roll call. Any amendments or discussion? Call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst. Senator Moody.
I'll just keep going with it.
Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
13-0. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 81, Guidance Clarity Act by Senator Langford. Do you wish to say anything on your bill? Okay. If no amendments or discussion, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst.
What's that?
Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by
Oh,
proxy.
because I didn't get.
Senator
the right-
Gallego.
Okay.
Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Do we have, aye, do we have to vote again?
As adopted, okay.
Okay, I want to clarify that what we did vote on was the Langford substitute as the underlying bill. I don't think there's materially a difference unless someone feels we need to vote again. I think the vote is fine. All right. The committee will now proceed to consideration of S. So again. Yeah, did you call the roll in the final?
13-0-2-0. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
I'd like to know whose bill it is, the next one. Yeah, does it say it up here? Okay, all right. The next item is Senate Bill 861, Disaster Assistance Simplification Act. This is a bill sponsored by Senators Peters, Paul, and Langford. Any discussion?
No discussion, Chairman Paul, but this bill and others that I'm offering are ones that passed in the last Congress with broad support, and hope we can move the roll call along quickly.
Good.
Thank you.
Any amendments or discussion? If not, we'll call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 766, $1 billion boondoggle from Senator Ernst. Any discussion or amendments? Senator
Yeah.
Ernst?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ranking Member Peters for being supportive of this bill, and for all of my colleagues supporting today. And a special shout out to Senator Hassan for working with me on this. We're $37 trillion in debt, and we want to make sure that no taxpayer dollars are wasted. So again, thanks so much. Today, we're one step closer to having greater transparency and accountability to protect our taxpayer dollars from funding blank checks for failed and runaway projects. So again, thanks for supporting.
I would like to commend Senator Ernst for having a great title to her bill, almost as good as ending improper payments to deceased people, but right up there. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 14, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, for the record only, the yeas are 1, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 14, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 872, Stop Secret Spending Act by Ernst, Peters, Langford, and Moreno. Any discussion or amendments? Let's call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Okay.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 14, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 1, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 14, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 727, U.S. Customs and Border Protection Officer Retirement Technical Corrections Act by Peters and Hawley. Any discussion or amendments? If not, the clerk, excuse me? The committee will now proceed to consideration of Senate Bill 727, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Officer Retirement Corrections Act. I ask that the committee consider the Peters substitute as the underlying bill without objection. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
Next item is Senate Bill 874, Expanding Whistleblower Protections for Contractors Act, and this is by Senator Peters. Any discussion or amendments? We're actually going to vote on the committee to consider the Peters substitute as modified as the underlying bill without objection. Clerk can call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
Next item is Senate Bill 594, Help, Response, and Recovery Act, sponsored by Senator Peters and Kennedy. Also, we will be considering the Peters substitute as the underlying bill without objection. Without further discussion, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 865, Lobbying Disclosure Improvement Act by Senator Peters and Grassley. Any discussion or amendments? Without seeing any, we will proceed to roll call.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 856, Disclosing Foreign Influence in Lobbying Act by Senators Grassley and Peters. Is there any discussion or amendments? Without seeing any, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters. Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 850, Northern Border Security Enhancement and Review Act by Senators Hassan and Kramer. Is there any discussion or amendments to be offered? Without seeing any, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
Next item is Senate Bill 848, Reporting Efficiently to Proper Officials in Response to Terrorism Act of 2025, sponsored by Senators Hassan and Lee. Is there any discussion or amendments? Without seeing any, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego.
Okay.
Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
The next item is Senate Bill 572, Shadow Wolves Improvement Act by Senator Gallego. Is there any discussion or amendments? I ask that the committee consider the Gallego substitute as the underlying bill without objection. Is there any discussion or amendments? Without seeing any, clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
Aye.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 2, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 13, the nays are 0, and the motion is agreed to.
That concludes the March 12th markup. Next, we will be voting on the four nominees.
We're going to do the
But we're
nominees
gonna-
at the end. We're going to start with legislation.
Okay, we have another, we're gaveling out here, but we're gaveling right back in to do another piece of legislation. We gavel out, now we're gaveling back in. Pursuant to the notice issued on July 23rd, 2025, the committee will consider 4 nominations and 1 piece of legislation. So we are starting with the nominations?
We're going to wait.
We're going to start with the legislation. Okay. All right. The first item is Senate Bill 1498, Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investment, the Pelosi Act by Hawley and Moreno. Well, that's a question.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call up my amendment, call amendment number 1, co-sponsored by Senator Peters, and ask unanimous consent that the modified version that is circulated just now be considered the base text of the substitute for the purposes of debate.
Before we go there, we haven't seen it yet. So what we'd like to do is at least see it. So we're going to take a minute to everybody pass. What's that? We have objection to the unanimous consent. We're going to see that. Oh, I agree. I want to see it first, too. I haven't seen it. So,
It'd be nice to have it described.
well, why don't we all take a few minutes to look at it and then describe it, but we'll still entertain the unanimous consent at that point. You have printed copies?
Yeah.
Okay. what we'll do is go back to the unanimous consent request. Is everybody ready to move forward? I'm not. Okay, let's wait a few minutes. I think what we'll do before we do the unanimous consent request again would be to let Senator Hawley describe his changes, and then the question will be on unanimous consent to adopt it or or have a vote.
Great. Thank you, Chairman Paul. Let me just say that we have an opportunity here today to do something that the public has wanted us to do for decades, and that is to ban members of Congress from profiting on information that, frankly, only members of Congress have in the buying and selling of stock. 86% of Americans say that members of Congress should not be able to buy and sell shares of stock, individual stock, while they are members of this body, and they are absolutely correct. And the reason is, you can see it, there was just another ethics referral in the House last week. We've seen the former Speaker of the House make millions of dollars in profits. We've seen members of both parties, I'm sad to say, be investigated for their stock trades. And the reason for all of this is that, quite frankly, members of this body are privy to information that the normal person just is not. Now, is that insider trading? It is not under the laws. Sometimes people say, well, we already have insider trading laws. We don't need a stock ban. Well, the information that members of Congress are privy to is technically not covered by the insider trading laws, but nobody really believes that the information that we get isn't valuable. It is quite valuable, which is why back during COVID, you saw members of Congress of both parties engage in a flurry of stock trading right after they were getting COVID briefings. Were members of the public getting those briefings? They were not. Were members of the public privy to the kind of information that was being given to members of Congress? No, they were not. And so when you look at what members of Congress are privy to, what they are able to trade on, the access that they have, it's just qualitatively different than your average Joe or Jane, which is why we ought to put into place common sense guardrails that say, if you want to be a member of Congress, you can put you want to save, great. You can buy mutual funds, you can buy broadly diversified investment vehicles. You should not be able to buy and trade individual stock shares in which, frankly, we have an interest in the work that we do. We have information that no other people get, no other members of the public have. This bill would finally redress that. It is in substance identical to the bill that the committee passed last year. And I believe it is a huge step forward in finally addressing this problem. I urge a yes vote, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Scott.
When we go to, one thing I want to understand here is illiquid assets. So the typical, if you think about an illiquid asset, it's something you have a difficult time selling. So if it's, how do you sell something that's illiquid? I mean, how do you, I'm just trying to understand how you do it. I mean, there's illiquid means there's no buyer. You can't find a buyer, so how do you do it? I mean, I don't understand how you sell it.
Are you asking me, Senator Scott?
So in here, there's a requirement.
This is the
to
same,
sell.
this is the same, you're concerned about the illiquid asset provision?
Right. So I just want to.
It's the same one you voted for last year.
So how's it work? So.
What's identical to the one you voted for in committee last year?
So it's.
Hasn't
if
been
it's-
changed.
Well, maybe we should go through and better understand it. Okay.
That's fine. I just want to be
so-
clear that it hasn't changed since you voted for it last year.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody, can anybody explain how the illiquid, how you sell an illiquid asset? If you can't sell, an asset is illiquid because you can't sell it. How do you sell an illiquid asset? Does anybody have an answer?
Well, Mr. Chairman, maybe I ought to make a couple comments because I voted no last time. So Senator Hawley can't use that argument against me. That's a real problem. And there's so many potential unintended consequences to this piece of legislation. One of the big problems we have here in Washington, D.C. is there's so very few bureaucrats, staff members, members of Congress who have any experience in, which means very little knowledge of, and I would say very little sympathy for the private sector. How difficult it is to run a business, how much more difficult our laws, and we passed a bunch from here again today, make it to build a business, to produce products, to create great paying jobs. It's a hard thing to do. And we make it very unattractive for people to step up to the plate and run for office or potentially serve in office. I tried hiring a retired CFO many years ago. This after the passage of the Stock Act. Would have been great. I could have had somebody really expert in international taxation, that type of thing. I could not find anybody willing to do it. So this piece of legislation, really, it's legislative demagoguery. We do have insider trading laws. We have financial disclosure. Trust me, we have financial disclosure. The press pays attention to it. So I don't see the necessity of this. I can imagine all kinds of unintended consequences. You could relabel this law, quite honestly, the Career Politician Protection Act, because it'll make it so unattractive for people to give up their business, sell it, unless some ethics committee says, oh, no, there won't be a conflict of interest. I mean, when we pass a tax law that lowers tax rates, we all benefit. It's just an inherent issue. So again, we have plenty of protections. We have the disclosure. This is a completely unnecessary piece of legislation. It's going to create all kinds of unintended consequences. Senator Scott just pointed out one of them, just one of them. So again, I voted no last time. I'm a strong no this time, even stronger this time.
I'd like to also chime in here. I think Senator Scott makes a good point on the illiquid assets. In addition to maybe some land that you've had for a generation from your family that's not really, you're attached to it, it has value, but nobody really wants to buy it. You got to sell it. But also, what if the stock market, what if you choose to run a year and a half before your election, the stock market's booming. During your campaign, the stock market tanks 20%, and nobody in their right mind would want to sell it. You're having to sell. So I think these are bad ideas. But the number one bad idea, particularly about the substitute, and the vote we're going to have is on the substitute. The substitute protects Donald Trump. So basically, you're asking the bill currently would affect Donald Trump. So if Democrats are pondering this, you will be voting to protect Donald Trump if you vote for the substitute. We are going to have a recorded vote on this. Look, if this is a great bill, if this is the greatest thing since sliced bread and it's really necessary, it should apply to Donald Trump. But the fact that they don't want to apply it to Donald Trump means that it's a really crummy bill and it would do terrible things to Donald Trump's finances. So if this is a great bill, let's apply it to the president. And you will have a chance on that. So we will have a vote, and the next vote is going to be on the substitute. The substitute protects Donald Trump. The original bill does not protect Donald Trump. And so I hope everybody will think about that. I will oppose the substitute change because I think it should apply to everybody or nobody. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. We're going to apply it to us and the president, and except for Donald Trump. I mean, to accept Donald Trump from this is crazy. It also excludes all the courts, all the staff. I frankly think that there are chiefs of staff on, the Armed Services Committee know a lot more about tank sales and plane sales and this and that way before anybody else does. That if you think there's a real problem with this, apply this to staff as well. I think the courts know. If I've got a decision coming up and it's Monsanto and I'm going to rule on a $1 billion case against Monsanto, should the people that work for the judge be included in this? I do agree with Senator Johnson, though, that I think insider trading is not only has always been illegal, it was further made illegal under more scrutiny under the Stock Act. And I think this is a solution looking for publicity, but not necessarily something that is really an accurate or effective tool. If it were, it would apply to President Trump. So the vote we're going to have is to be excluding President Trump from this bill. And if you think that's fair, vote for the substitute. If you don't think it's fair to exclude Donald Trump, I think we should vote against the substitute. Not because I have anything against Donald Trump, but because I think everybody should be treated fairly. Senator Slotkin.
Yeah, I just want to say I think this is a really important vote. I appreciate the authors, the co-sponsors bringing it up. I was a co-sponsor of a very similar bill just for members of Congress in the House, banning members of Congress of all kinds, Democrats and Republicans, from trading stocks. You don't have to sell. You can put your money you can put your stock into a blind trust, which a lot of members of Congress have already done.
True, right?
No?
That's not true.
Mr. Hawley, do you want to confirm that?
Yeah, let me just, will you yield?
Sorry,
And
I
I'll
yield.
yield back to you. Just a few things. Let me just go back to land is not
That's
an
correct.
illiquid investment. It is not. It's explicitly exempted under the bill. The bill defines illiquid investments as an interest in private funds. Land is not considered as such, number one. Number two, Senator Paul brought up the hypothetical that if you're someone who's running for office and the stock market tanks, as soon as you get into office, you're stuck. Well, what this bill does, because people like Senator Paul and others have asked over and over for fairness, time to comply, it says that current office holders, the terms of the bill will take effect upon the beginning of their next term. So in that hypothetical that Senator Paul just raised, that, you find yourself suddenly locked into a 6-year term, you have to sell, you would not have to. You would have 6 years to comply. This is the same treatment for all office holders. Members of Congress, members of the House, it will take effect upon the beginning of their next term if they're reelected. Members of the Senate, it will take effect upon the beginning of their next term if they're reelected. The President, the Vice President, will take effect upon the beginning of their next term, and so on. So everyone is treated the same in that respect. They're allowed to come into compliance. And that speaks to the blind trust provisions. If you currently have a blind trust and you are a member of this body, you have until the beginning of your next term and then 180 days after that to meet the divestment requirements. Okay, I yield back.
Thank you. Sorry, that's my mistake. I think we have to accept that the American people think that all of us, Democrats and Republicans, are using our positions and our access to enrich ourselves. They think that when it comes to stock trading, and as you pointed out, Mr. Hawley, Democrats and Republicans, right? Just right now around Liberation Day, President Trump's big tariff day, 53 members made over 2,200 stock trades valuing at $34.9 between $34.9 million and $140 million. So it's happening on both sides of the aisle. And people don't believe that we are here for the right reasons. We have a problem. And in order to address that, I am willing to make the good work instead of waiting for the perfect. So of course, I want the president and the vice president to be held accountable under this. Of course, we saw that you made changes so that it affected their next term, knowing that that probably wouldn't be Donald Trump. We all saw Vance and Trump come out against this publicly. But I think it's important that we at least make a start. And you're right, there could be judges and chiefs of staff and all kinds of other peoples. But right now, this body has the opportunity to make the call on this body and a few other really important holders. I would also add the fact that cryptocurrencies, digital currencies are in this is hugely important when it comes to curbing people like Donald Trump, who's made over $100 million since taking office from crypto. So if you don't want to vote this way, if you don't want to vote for this, don't say it's because we're protecting Donald Trump. Say it's you don't want to be held accountable in your own office. It's you don't want to have to sell your stock. And I actually respect Mr. Johnson for saying that, for saying this is why I think it's bad, because people won't be able to earn money. I think that's a legitimate reason for this. But don't say that you're going to hold out for the perfect when we have a chance to actually send a message that we understand we have a perception problem and members of Congress shouldn't be trading stocks when they're getting classified briefings.
Senator Johnson.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I do want to point out that when I decided to run for the Senate and I won, I sold all my marketable securities. I converted to cash. You know, that hasn't done real well in terms of investment. Now, my wife has, in the intervening years, bought a few ETFs. So I agree with the spirit of this. I don't think members of Congress, in my own case, I don't trade stocks. But if I would, it's fully disclosed, and I don't want to impose that on the members either to discourage people from the private sector to come here and serve. Again, we have too many career politicians. We don't have enough people who have experience in the private sector. We need more. We need to encourage them, not discourage them. This piece of legislation would be hugely discouraging to people from the private sector coming here and serving.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Lankford.
I would like to have colloquy with the author on this one just to try to get some additional information. I happen to be the chairman of ethics, so it would actually fall on me to be able to enforce this because much of the bill itself actually comes back to ethics on it. And so I'm trying to be able to track a couple of things. Senator Slotkin brought this issue up of the qualified blind trust. That has been allowed to be able to say, if you are a big stockholder and you have it, you chose to be able to sell yours off. Some others come into it and say, hey, I have stock holdings. I'm not one of those, by the way. They would come in and say, I'm going to put all this in a qualified blind trust. They're prohibited from having communication with them. That person is actually managing it, and they're separated totally. This bill would say, no, you can't do that anymore. So if you have stocks, you can't put that in a qualified blind trust any longer. Why would that be?
A couple of things. Number one, if you have a qualified blind trust and you are a member of Congress, again, you have until the beginning of your next term, should the voters see fit to reelect you.
No, I get that, but then after that, it's prohibited on it. So
correct. So for those who know ahead of time that they're going to be joining this body, they can no longer use qualified blind trust. And the reason for that is, as you know, the rules on qualified blind trusts are not airtight. They're actually very loose. It is very difficult to police. You don't police them, and the Ethics Committee.
Well, the Ethics Committee, thank you for mentioning that. Ethics Committee does police that. So thanks for telling me what I don't do. We do police that, but
you do not police the structure of the blind trust.
We do, actually. Every single blind trust that's actually put in has to be approved.
And they have to, and so and you police then the buying and the selling and the communication back and forth between members?
We do police the communication between the members and the individuals of the blind trust. That's correct.
And so you think that that's an effective way? You're saying you think we need no changes now. You think that effectively accounts for any sort of
again, this suddenly sounds like it's personal. You're telling me what I don't do.
No, I'm just asking you a question because what we found over and over is when members of Congress have been investigated for securities violations, they have said over and over, oh, I had a trust. I didn't really know anything about it. And then as it turns out, they're communicating with their trustee. And they say, oh, we're allowed to do that. So
they-
you're telling me maybe they violated multiple laws.
No,
Here's what I would say. I think that at the end of the day, if you're asking me why do we need to eliminate blind trusts, it's because blind trusts, I think, are often workarounds because they can be structured in multiple different ways, right? There's not one way to structure blind trust, correct? Or there's only one way?
There is a way that you have to structure it if you're in the Senate and going through ethics. Have you gone through that process before?
No, because I don't have any of these securities, James, because when I got elected, I sold all of my trusts and assets.
Great.
I don't have a blind trust. I practice what I preach. I don't have individual stocks. I don't trade in stocks. I'm not a billionaire, unlike others on this committee. And what I think is the American people are sending us a clear message, and I hope that they are watching this today. They're sending us a message that they want us to behave as they behave.
Right. So I'm just trying to ask some questions. I'm trying to figure out some things on this because of the way that it's shaped. I've got to be able to work through this. I do believe the qualified blind trust works. The folks that you're mentioning, I think, are folks that say, hey, I had a stockbroker, I had somebody that was handling that, but that was not a qualified blind trust. That's a very different structure to be able to have that. There's prohibited communication there. Many of the accusations that have come in the past several years have been somebody else was handling it, but it wasn't a qualified blind trust. So I was confused on why this particular one, because there haven't been accusations on that. That's somebody that comes in with some wealth, which I don't have, which you don't have. Someone with some wealth that comes in and says, hey, this family inheritance, whatever they may have, worked their whole life, got it. They could put in a blind trust over there. This also requires several things here. It requires you sell it rather than just prohibit trades. Several times I've heard you mention, hey, they shouldn't be trading in it. What about individuals that had stocks when they came? Why should they sell it to be able to be here? Why not just have a flat-out prohibition to say you can no longer buy, no longer sell? If you have it, stock market goes up and down, you can't touch it. You have to just leave it there. Why not? What was the decision to be able to say you got to sell it all rather than just you can't trade anymore?
Well, there is a ban on trading that would take effect immediately for all members, not just new members who are coming in, but for all members.
Right.
So I've been saying over and over that you have until your next term, should you be reelected, in order to divest. But you make the important point that the trading would be prohibited immediately.
Right.
Your question is why even in the next term require people to divest? I think that the answer to that is because you know what you own, presumably. I mean, you know that you have assets in the following securities. That constitutes a financial interest, a pecuniary interest. And it presents a conflict of interest to be getting briefings, voting on legislation, doing these things where you know you could be increasing or decreasing the value of your portfolio.
We also have farmers that are here in Congress that they vote on farm policy, and they also have ag provisions as well. And so that you can't eliminate all provisions that are out there on that. So I'm just trying to be able to figure out, this also has a reporting requirement. If someone has an FHA loan, it has to come back to ethics, or a VA loan, it has to come back to ethics. If they're involved in any of the farm programs, it has to come back to ethics, and we've got to be able to track it. I'm trying to figure out what to be able to do on this. And then it eliminates the ability for someone to own crypto or stable coin. Now, we just passed a bill allowing stablecoin to exist. I'm trying to figure out why stablecoin is now in this as well. That's just a digital asset that has the same value as cash, but it's prohibited in this. I'm trying to figure out why stablecoin is cut out on this.
Well, you say in it now. I mean, it has been in it. It's in the bill that we passed a year ago before the most recent. But
stablecoin, we just made the change on, to be able to open up stablecoin and the regulatory basis for all
We didn't
Americans.
make the change in this bill. Congress passed a bill.
I get that. That's why I'm just asking why it's still in this, that there's a prohibition for that kind of digital asset.
Well,
it's just a dollar for dollar. It's the same as owning cash. So if you own a stable coin, that's the same as owning a dollar. It's only worth $1. It doesn't change in value. But a member of Congress wouldn't be able to own a stable coin anymore.
Correct, and it's for the same reason, the same pecuniary interest, conflict of interest provisions that we think with individual stock. I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere. We drew the line in this place over a year ago when we drafted and passed this bill.
Yeah, but I'm saying a stable coin is worth $1 today. It's worth $1. It's not a tradable asset.
If it will get your vote, James, I'd be happy to change this on the floor.
No, that's what I'm just trying. I'm asking because as the chairman of ethics, I've got to be able to actually.
And if you're concerned that it won't be, and if you're concerned that we won't be able, the ethics committee won't be able to enforce it, we will absolutely work with you. And I know the Ethics Committee is a bipartisan committee.
It is.
And I know that your Democrat colleagues would also be happy to work with you to make sure that we can enforce this. We'll get you the guidance. And I'm happy to work with anybody on the floor who actually wants to change the bill to make it better. I mean, I agree with what Senator Slotkin said. This is not a perfect bill. It's not an ideal bill. Listen, there's provisions of this bill I don't like that much. But here's my bottom line. I've been working on this for This is my 7th year now in the Senate. I've been working on it for 7 years. I want a bill that can pass this committee, that can pass the Senate, and that can be signed into law by the president. The ranking member and I worked for 2 years to get the compromise text last time. 2 years. Did I like everything in it? No. But you know what? We passed it through this committee. I just think this issue is too important to play politics with. We could do an easy messaging bill that would never pass. But if you want to really make a change and you want to make law, you're going to have to draw the line somewhere. So having said that, I will absolutely work with you, Senator Langford, and anybody else who says, okay, you know what, I think this needs to be changed. You look at this and may say, you know what, I don't think these pieces are enforceable.
All right, let's move the debate on.
Wait a minute. I haven't yielded, Senator Paul. This is an
wrap it
important
up.
debate. I think we should take all the time that we need. I think it's absolutely vital that we get it right and get it as close as we can. But what I do not want to do and what I will not consent to and what I'm going to be very critical of are attempts to kill it, where it is, well, you know, this is not quite right, so we're going to kill it here. And this is not quite what I want, so we're going to kill it. I don't want to kill it. I want to move it. I want to move it. I want to get this enacted. I want the American people to be able to trust this body. And I think that's why this vote today is so important.
All right, let's move it along. On the question of stablecoin that Senator Langford brings up, the hope is that someday in the near future, it may be that everything you purchase on Amazon, that stablecoin is a choice. It may be at Walmart you use it. So you're passing a law today that somehow may prohibit anybody in office from shopping on Amazon. So this isn't a very well thought out bill. We have a couple over here. Senator Gallego.
And in case anyone's wondering, I am not the billionaire on this committee. Quite the opposite. I think I actually might be the poorest senator. One thing I think that it's also for at least Democrats for us to keep in mind, this is a very, very strong executive that is consistently doing deals and side deals with individual companies. And so, and some of us are privy to that information. So, you know, and that's my wife complaining right now, probably because I didn't answer. And so if we don't actually put some of these, you know, guardrails in, there will be members of Congress that are going to benefit from this, without a doubt. And there will be a further and further erosion in trusts of both Democrats and Republicans, in trust in government. And, you know, I do feel for, you know, some of the arguments, well, that's going to discourage people from serving their country, maybe some people in the business world. But there is, you know, lots of ways for us to really encourage them to join us. And look, the president right now has multiple billionaires that have joined his administration, and he's clearly been able to attract them. I think the same will be going in the future. I also appreciate, Senator Hawley, that you said you're willing to continue to work on this, because there are some things that, you know, how would you deal with someone that does have a liquid asset if they want to sell? Would the Ethics Committee be required to actually go after them? I'm sure there's some kind of compromise we could come up in regards to that, but there's no way that we should try to stop this in its tracks right now when there's an opportunity for us to really rebuild that trust with voters that has been eroding for quite a while. And it's not just a Republican problem, it is also a Democratic problem. And I think this is something that we could all work together on that we will be very proud of, and I yield back.
Senator Gallego, I just want to point out that the bill as currently written does not apply to any of those billionaires that surround Donald Trump. Even after a certain period of time, they wouldn't apply. It doesn't apply to, so really he does have a lot of very wealthy people. I'm not against wealthy people. I think a lot of them are smart.
Yeah, sir, and sir,
but
Chairman Paul,
it does exclude them.
In the context of what I was saying, like, for example, is more along the lines that this president was able to attract those. Now, the way that he did it is that at the federal level, if you're a cabinet member, you can divest and not pay capital gains. That's the kind of things that we could also be doing here. But so my point being, though, is
this bill won't apply to his cabinet and won't apply to any of these special
I
advisors.
absolutely understand that, Chairman, and hopefully someday we could fix that. But right now, I'm certainly not going to let that be the end-all, be-all. And I'd like to move forward with this and see what other changes we can make to straighten this bill.
Senator Scott.
So first off, Senator Hawley, you said that I voted for the bill before. You also committed to work with me to improve the bill, which you didn't do. So let's think about where we are. I think everybody on this committee, nobody wants people to do trading. I think we all would agree with that.
Your mic on?
Yeah. Nobody would like people to do trading. We've watched Nancy Pelosi. It seems like she's figured out how to make a fortune off of trading. We'd all like to make as much money as she made in trading. I don't know anybody in the country that's done that well. So, but if you look at this, if you have a small business, you come up here, all right, it's illiquid, there's no buyer, what are you going to do? You just give it away. So you're telling people, let me finish. Okay, there's no buyer. If it's illiquid, there's no buyer. That's why it's called illiquid, right? You made a reference to billionaires, okay? I don't know when in this country it became a negative to make money. But somehow, if you've made money, you're supposedly, I think Senator Hawley suggests you shouldn't be serving because you might trade stocks. Now, I came up here, I made money. I started out never knowing my dad, living in public housing. I lived the dream that many of us want to live, not be broke. I went to junior college, joined the Navy. I didn't go to some elite university. I went to the cheapest place I could find, and I went and built businesses. But somehow now, if you've made money, somehow it's negative up here. I did what Senator Johnson did. When I became governor of Florida, I sold my operating businesses, right? I did a blind trust while I was governor. I never saw what was in the blind trust. I never traded one thing that was in the blind trust. Somebody else did it. Now in this job, I don't trade stocks. I don't own operating businesses. But somehow it's suspect because I made money. I don't know how many people in the audience, how many of you don't want to make money? Anybody want to be poor? I don't. Right? So this idea that we're going to attack people because they make money is wrong. Is absolutely wrong. We should cherish all of our different backgrounds. Every one of us has a different background. I've got a business background. But what I was just accused of is making money, and somehow I can't be fair and do things the right way. So I think it's disgusting what is going on here. So, but I agree with I completely agree with you. We've got to stop people from trading stocks. But this is way different. This is an attack against the president, attack against the vice president. That's what this is. So I think it's wrong.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to correct that Senator Scott said that if you have a small business, you'd be forced to sell it. Small businesses are explicitly exempted under this bill to 1,200 employees. They are not covered. If you have a small business, you can maintain your ownership in that business throughout the entire time. And I don't mind anybody being rich. What I mind is people getting rich while they're here trading stock, which I think we can all agree on. And this bill would put a stop to.
So 1,200 employees. I had one company with 285,000 employees. That was publicly traded, but when it was private, it was not liquid. I had a variety of manufacturing companies that had a lot of employees. That stock was illiquid. I mean, if any of you bought and sold companies, you do not have, somebody's going to buy today. I know I can walk out the door and there'll be somebody to buy the company. So we're going to make people sell things when it might be an absolute worst time to sell something. And they busted their butt to go build that business, and then they want to come up here and serve, and then we say, well, you got to give up your net worth. That's wrong.
I'd like to make one quick point, then Senator Johnson. On the idea of whether you're a small business or not, I was a physician. There was 150 physicians in my practice, and we owned a bunch of stuff altogether. And we probably had 1,500, 2,000 employees. Sounds like I would have to divest as well. So you could be a small member of a large group that has a lot of money and a lot of employees, and you'd have to divest. I think there's just a lot of things that are not thought through here. Senator Johnson.
I'd like to make a couple more points. I've been here now for 15 years. Again, sold all my stock, sat on cash, lost my you-know-what, not a good investment over the last 15 years. I can't think of one time where there was a piece of information that I go, oh, man, if only I could trade in stock and take advantage of this. Not once. I don't disagree that the American public distrusts this body. It's because we're mortgaging our children's future, $37 trillion in debt. They also distrust us because of demagogic piece of legislation like this. So have there been abuses? Yeah, I mean, I think what Nancy Pelosi did was probably pretty abusive. I have no idea how she made that much money. But again, this is self-flagellation. This is blowing something way out of proportion, like there's all kinds of corruption, all kinds of insider deal, trading in all kinds of insider information. Again, I can't think of one time that I heard in a secure briefing or some piece of information, I said, hey, I can make money off of this one. Can't think of one time, 15 years. In the end, we ought to respect the voters. We have disclosure laws. We disclose trades. Respect the voters. If you own something, respect the voters. Well, because the press certainly reports on Republicans, maybe not on Democrats, but Republicans, all these things get reported. That keeps us honest. Not 100%. But again, the unintended consequence is this, the way it would disincentivize the very type of people we need serving here, people who run businesses, people who balance a checkbook, balance a budget. Those people don't want to serve here because we're already making it so unattractive. This would make it vastly more unattractive with all kinds of unintended consequences. So again, I urge my colleagues, vote a strong no against this thing.
Senator Kim.
Yeah, I'll keep this brief, but I just have to say, you know, it is and has been the greatest honor to be able to serve in Congress and serve in this body. And I would want people here that believe that this is the highest honor. You know, not that it is just something that you're weighing and trading off. We are only looking for 535 Americans to serve in Congress out of 330 million people. Surely we can find 535 that understand that when you come here, you have and are held to the highest of standards. You know, that we work jobs whose job descriptions are in the Constitution of the United States. And if you are concerned about how that's going to affect your bottom line, if mutual funds are not good enough for you, then maybe this is not the right job for you. But if we are just trying to find and have that standard so the American people can understand and not have a single question about the motivations of people to be in this building. And I recognize that as I am here in the Senate because of these concerns about corruption and scandals that are out there. They are real, and people are having such distrust in government right now. This is not going to solve all of it, but it's moving in that direction. So I just say, yes, we should try to find the steps that we can to give the assurances to the American people so they don't have to have any question about our integrity.
All right, I think we're going to get to the underlying question. The underlying question is on the substitute. The main difference, and this is me characterizing this, but I think the main difference between what is on the floor and the choices are between what is on the floor that includes Donald Trump and the substitute that will not include Donald Trump. A better title for the substitute would be the exemption for Donald Trump substitute, or protect Donald Trump from stock scrutiny. So all the debate and talk about Donald Trump and his advisors will be exempt from the bill, but you'll be voting affirmatively on exempting Donald Trump from this if you vote for the substitute. If the substitute fails, President Donald Trump will be under the scrutiny of this bill. So I don't know. I think long and hard about it.
Mr. Chair, as I understand it, the substitute treats Donald Trump exactly the same way members of Congress will be treated. They are both in this bill, and I do not think your characterization of the first bill is correct with regard to the treatment of the president, but I will leave that to the sponsors.
I think you're right.
The president's not in the Pelosi bill, if I'm correct.
Mr. Chairman? So can I ask a new guy question here? This is obviously really important. And by the way, I made a decision to sell every single one of my assets before the primary. Just be clear on that. But here's my question. Is this really the right way to run a railroad? We're being thrown at us reams of paper, lots of dialogue, and then we're taking a vote. If you had a gun to my head, I could not tell you what we're about to vote for. I have no idea what we're voting for. I was a co-sponsor with Senator Hawley on the Pelosi Act. Pretty straightforward. I read that bill. I have not read the mountains of paper that's in front of me, and I think it's wholly irresponsible for us to sit here. Pretty much, let's be honest, this is a publicity show, and then be asked to vote on something where we have literally no idea what we're voting on. I mean, I'm sitting here asking my fellow senators, like, what do we actually, is there underlying amendment, substitute amendment? These are all words that you guys use every day, but for normal people, these are not normal words. So if there's a way to actually have a conversation in which we understand, hey, here's the bill, you've read it, you understand the implications one way or the other, and then we can have an adult, intelligent conversation, we pass it. I think it is important for us to restore faith in our institutions. But to just put a vote out there where we have literally no idea what we're voting for is gross incompetence and irresponsibility.
So first off, if I may, Mr. Chairman, the substitute was put out Friday. So you've had several days to look at the substitute. This is just a very minor change.
Text was just handed to us.
Well, it is everything that went to your office on Friday with one minor change, is my understanding.
We got
So
it. We got it when we arrived in the committee.
Hold on one second.
This is my
Senator,
understanding.
with all due respect, look, sending something out Friday through some random computer system is also disrespectful to people on this committee. Why wouldn't you, if we're going to pass something, why wouldn't we have an intelligent conversation that says, hey, I'm the co-sponsor of the bill, that says, hey, this is what we're looking to change, and here's what it is, and read through it, and this is why we thought about it. Let's have a thoughtful meeting. Look, if we ran businesses this way, you wouldn't have to be an entrepreneur to run for office. You'd be flat broke. This is the most absurd process I've ever seen. And again, if we're talking about having faith in our institutions, this is, if you guys think this is normal, all of you have been here too long.
Well, Senator, we do use computers in the Senate. I know that might be kind of weird for you, but we do use those. And we send them to your staff, and your staff, my staff looks at the things that come in because it's on a markup, and we go through it. It's actually the bill that passed last session, too.
Let's be very
if I may
clear.
finish, Mr. Chairman. And so this is only a change. There was a date certain as to, was it 27, I think, and instead it was changed to the term of an individual. And then let me go back to, I mean, President Trump is treated like every other member. There's no trading within 90 days. We deal with the trading issue right away, which I think is probably 95% of the problem is the trading. And this bill, this substitute deals with it after 90 days. The president, members of the Senate, members of the House are all going to be impacted by it. And that's what passed last Congress. This is what was in the substitute via computer, as odd as that may be for you. It went via computer to your office. Your staff had a chance to look at. This is a minor change. And that's what we're talking about.
Before we're going to be disdainful of the point, we got the substitute on Friday. We got the modification when we walked in. The modification is what removes Donald Trump from the bill. It's a big change. The modification vote is what we're going to have. You're right. Substitute didn't include the president. Yes, the bill will treat Congress and the president equally in the bill with the modification. Without the modification, it treats the president immediately. We will be voting to modify the substitute to not have this bill apply to Donald Trump while he's in office. That is what the vote is before us. But I sort of resent you treating our members by saying, oh, you don't know about a computer? I mean, you know better than that.
He complained it came via computer, Mr. Chairman.
No,
I was just, I'm sorry.
Mr. Peters, if you want to have a who knows more about technology battle, let's have that battle. So maybe I know more about technology, my pinky, than you do. Can you explain on page 4 and 5 what the changes are? Could you walk me through the changes that were made on pages 4 and 5? Because you know this bill off the top of your head.
The changes with the
So
times.
what's the changes in page 4?
The change in,
Deadline.
the change that was made, my understanding is the change was just on the date.
That's incorrect. All right, how about the changes on page 5?
Take a look at
So you don't know. It was delivered to you on a computer. You didn't read it over the weekend? So what were the changes on page 5?
The dates are changed throughout, Senator.
That's not the dates. It's not true at all.
I got this from Senator Hawley's staff, who gave it to us, and that was the change that they said was the only change.
Explain
When
the
did you get
changes
the
on page 4 or page 5.
So
Could I just, Mr. Chair, I just want to take a step back. Our staffs did get the substitute. They did brief, at least I got briefed on what it was, and I got briefed on the change that was handed to us this morning. But the bigger picture, it seems to me, and I just want to be clear, what this bill would do is apply to the president as well as members of Congress to prevent them from trading the stocks they currently hold within 90 days of the passage of this bill. So that is, in fact, applying to Donald Trump in the present, and I want to be very clear about that. Like all members of Congress in this legislation, Donald Trump does not have to divest unless he were to start another presidential term. And the reality is that he is in his second term, so the Constitution prevents that. But the vice president would have to do the same thing if he were to have another term. We would all have to do the same thing. But it gives members the choice to decide whether they are going to divest or run for office. And that seems to me to be a fair way of addressing some of the concerns that we've heard from opponents of this bill. So I just want to take a step back and be real about what does and doesn't apply to the president right now and what is in this bill, and echo Senator Slotkin's and others' view that this is a major and important step forward. To my colleague from Ohio, we have debated this issue on this committee now for several rounds, including in the last Congress, and there's always somebody who finds some small thing to say, well, let's just wait, let's just delay it. I think the work here has been really good. I think you've heard Senator Hawley agree that as it comes to the floor, if there are other changes or clarifications people want, he will work with them on that, and there is still a chance to vote against it on the floor should it get to the floor. But I just want to echo that I think this is a major step forward and an important piece of legislation to make sure that the American public knows that members of Congress and the President of the United States are not spending their time trading stocks when they are supposed to be working here full time. Thank you.
But let's be very clear about the timeline. The substitute was distributed on Friday. The modification, most of us, other than Senator Peters, didn't get it till we got here. So apparently you got it beforehand from Senator Hawley. None of us got the modification till we got here. So we're asked to decide on an important piece of legislation that we just got. That's why it's important that we know what we're voting on. The substitute without the modification doesn't apply to the, does apply to,
Yes.
does apply to the president.
Yes.
Does apply to the president in current time. The modification will apply to president and Congress equally, but the president won't be forced to divest. So a big part of this bill we're going to exempt Donald Trump from. The modification is to exempt Donald Trump from divestiture. The Republicans said they wouldn't go there, and Democrats wanted the president involved. So you got the president involved, but the president won't have to divest. But the vote is to protect the president from divestiture. That's what the vote will be on today. If you modify it, if the modification fails, the underlying substitute would have Donald Trump divest, which I think is a terrible idea. But it's a terrible idea for the next president, too, not just for Donald Trump. And the only way it's made more real for all of us, at least Republicans, is to think, oh, my goodness, we're going to do this to Donald Trump. Oh, no, let's just screw the next president, you know? And that's what we're deciding today. But when you hate something so much that you don't want to apply it to your president, maybe it's a bad provision.
Can I respond to something?
Senator Scott.
So, Senator Hassan, what you said sounds really nice. It sounds really nice that after we vote for this and this passes, we're going to have a conversation. We didn't. When we voted for this before, that's what I was told. Nobody talked to me. I hear about this Friday night. Nobody's asked me my concerns. I have some experience in business. I can tell you some of the issues. Nobody asks, right? So, I mean, look, reality is if this passes today, there's going to be push to pass this on the floor with no changes. That's just reality.
That may be, but there's always an opportunity if a senator gets an amendment on a Friday night to reach out to the sponsors and talk with them. Thank you.
We're ready to vote. And let's be clear, we're voting on, the first vote will be the modification of the substitute. Everybody clear or less than clear?
Not really, but I'm no.
Senator Scott.
Okay. I want to call up my secondary amendment to Scott 1. So
We have to adopt or not.
I think we have to go to the modification first, and then we'll go to amendment after. I think that's just the order.
Okay.
So, all right, so we'll vote on the modifications. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
No.
Senator Langford.
No.
Senator Scott.
Nope.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
No's always a good choice.
So
Senator.
you have a vote or no vote?
I choose not to participate.
All right. President. You can vote president if you want or nothing, whatever.
Senator Ernst? No. Senator Moody?
Say again?
No to exempt the president.
Okay.
That's what we're voting on. No to exempt the president.
Senator Peters?
Aye.
Senator Hassan? Aye. Senator Blumenthal? Aye. Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? Senator Gallego? Senator Slotkin? Senator Paul?
No.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 6. On the vote by proxy, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 6, and the amendment is agreed to.
Now we open up for amendments to the substitute. Okay, now the floor is open for amendment. Senator Scott.
I call up my secondary amendment to Scott 1. So as we. Turn it off. I thought I turned it on.
I don't think they.
Okay, so I think what we've all talked about is nobody wants to see allegations of insider trading.
I think technically they're informing me. You have to call up Scott 1, and then you can second degree it, but I think you have to call up Scott 1 first.
Okay, I call up Scott 1.
Okay. And then can he second degree it now? Now I think you can call.
Are we going to have debate on Scott 1, Mr. Chairman? Since it's now pending
I
business?
think we've had sufficient debate on the.
Well, no, Scott 1 is important. I'd like to say a word about it
No,
if we're
well,
going to bring it
he's
to the
going to
floor.
replace it. He's
I'm
going to
gonna
replace it
replace
with
it.
Scott 2.
Well, you're going to ask for another amendment.
Yeah, but no, why don't we?
I'm doing my- I'm doing- I'm
Let's
amending
debate
it.
Scott 2.
Well, he just called up Scott 1, which is pending. I'd like to say a word about Scott 1 before he moves to Scott 2.
I'm not going to Scott 2.
You are. You just said you're going to do a
I'm just-
second degree amendment to
I've
Scott
got an
1.
amendment to Scott 1.
Well, I want to talk about Scott 1 that you're
finish
trying to
mine
change.
first.
No, yours
I'll
is the
finish
pending
mine
business.
Order. Here's the way it works. Look, the Scott Amendment 1 gets put forward. He's putting a second degree. We're going to vote on the second degree and debate on the second degree. If the second degree fails, he can insist on vote on 1, then we'll debate 1. But if it passes, there is no debate because there is no 1. So present, I guess, your arguments for second degree to Scott 1.
Sure. So as we know, we're doing this because we've watched people that it sure appears that they have somehow figured out how to make a lot of money off their job up here in Congress. So my amendment is to get a review of all the trading by Nancy Pelosi and her husband for the last 25 years. I think it's critical to get to the root of why this bill was proposed and get transparency for the American people. I think I agree that we've got to figure out, why people don't trust. And I think Speaker Pelosi is the prime example. So this amendment calls for an inspector general to issue a GAO report on the Pelosi trading for the last 25 years with a report back to the committee within 180 days. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment.
I have a clarification question. This is the report on Nancy Pelosi. Does it include other members of Congress?
No.
Or this is just a
Speaker
report
Pelosi and her husband.
on her husband?
We sent copies around earlier.
I just wanted to be
By
clear.
computer. But we sent it by computer and we can pass out copies.
I guess my only problem in the thing about it is I think it's driven by a lot of, like, for example, there are wealthy people in the Senate who people say, oh, look at all the money he's got. And they have gotten very rich over the last 20 or 30 years they've been in office. But the particular person, I'm not going to mention the name, is married to a very wealthy woman and her family. And it's like, there is an explanation. But online, everybody's like, how did that guy get to be so rich? And I worry about targeting one person is the only thing. I don't say that in a mean-spirited way. I just worry about going after one person as opposed to a report on stock investments or more generally than going after one person. But, excuse me? Well, I don't know. I worry about going after people just looking around at everybody's stock trades and trying to make accusations. The Ethics Committee kind of does this already, and I assume the Ethics Committee does it. I hate to put you on the spot, Jim, but what do you think about it from the ethics perspective?
Yeah, I can't speak to the House perspective. For those of us that have served in the House know the fun of being in the House and their dual committees and what they do on ethics. Senate ethics is exceptionally thorough. We've had multiple members, and some have been discussed even a little bit today, that have ethical problems, and they're no longer in the Senate as a result of that. So there are consequences, and there is follow-through. And as Senator Johnson has mentioned, every single stock transaction of $1,000 or more, buying or selling, is made public already right now and is tracked in public and is tracked by ethics. And any question that comes up on a hearing, a meeting, and anything else that happens with any member of the Senate, if there is something that happens and then they trade in that stock later, it is actually brought to ethics, and we follow up with those individuals. And any individual that's in the Senate knows full well that owns stocks, the pressure that they're under constantly, the microscope they're under, and any of their trades. So no, this is very tracked in the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question, Rick. So does this, the second degree, does this replace the entire bill with the study?
No.
Oh, it's in addition.
So it leaves everything in place and it does the study?
Yeah, just adds this study.
And what happens to, what about Scott Amendment number 1? Does this replace all of that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so it strikes, Scott Amendment number 1,
Was to cover, was to cover the people in the legislature.
federal, well, no, Scott Amendment number 1 is federal employees. So it would recover National Guardsmen, Army Reservists, it would cover postal services. No, active duty only. Active duty only. So what survives of that in this? Are we still going to cover guardsmen and reservists and? Okay.
Yeah. So Scott second degree replaces Scott 1. We're not voting on anything Scott 1.
Correct.
Okay. Further discussion?
Ask a roll call.
Okay. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim. Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 7, the nays are 8. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 7, the nays are 8, and the amendment is not agreed to.
Mr. Chairman?
Say again. Senator Scott.
Okay. I withdraw my secondary amendment to Scott 1. I'd like to call up Scott 2.
Okay. Can you explain it to us?
I withdraw Scott 1, but yeah, Scott 2, this amendment provides for an exemption of the president, the vice president, and their spouses' independence. Look, I've been very clear about my concerns about the provisions of this bill that give Democrats another weapon to attack President Trump and Vice President Vance. After Russiagate, fake impeachments, baseless witch hunts, indictments, the last thing we need to do is give Democrats more weapons to attack the president. We can ban stock trading for Congress, but let's don't give more weapons to Democrats to attack President Trump. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment.
I will oppose the amendment, not because I want President Trump to be investigated and divested and all the things that this bill would do. I'm going to oppose the final bill because I don't want him to be included in any of this. But on the amendment, I think if it's good for Congress, we had to apply it to everybody. I'd go the president, I'd go the courts, I'd go to all the staff. I'd put everybody under it. The more the better to spread it. But on this particular one, I'll end up voting no because my opposition to the final bill will be my opposition to Donald Trump being involved in any way. Any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Langford. Senator Scott. Senator Hawley. Senator Moreno. Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan. Senator Blumenthal. Senator Fetterman. Senator Kim. Senator Gallego. Senator Slotkin. Senator Paul.
No.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 6, the nays are 9. On the vote by proxy, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 6, the nays are 9, and the amendment is not agreed to.
Now we're going to vote to adopt the Holly substitute as modified. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson?
No.
Senator Langford? No. Senator Scott? No. Senator Hawley? Senator Moreno? Senator Ernst? Senator Moody? Senator Peters?
Aye.
Senator Hassan? Senator Blumenthal? Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? Senator Gallego? Senator Slotkin? Senator Paul?
No.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7. On the vote by proxy, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7, and the amendment is agreed to.
We'll now vote on final passage as modified. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson?
No.
Senator Langford? No. Senator Scott? Senator Hawley? No. Senator Moreno? Senator Ernst? Senator Moody? Senator Peters?
Aye.
Senator Hassan? Senator Blumenthal? Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? Senator Gallego? Senator Slotkin? Senator Paul? Senator Paul?
No.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7, and the motion is agreed to.
We'll now turn to the nominations. The first nomination will be on Pedro Allende. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson?
Aye.
Senator Langford? Senator Scott? Senator Hawley? Senator Moreno? Senator Ernst? Senator Moody? Senator Peters?
No.
Senator Hassan?
No.
Senator Blumenthal? No. Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? No. Senator Gallego? Senator Slotkin? Senator Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7. On vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7, and the motion to report the nominee is agreed to.
The next nominee is Sean Planky, Director of Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Senator Johnson?
Aye.
Senator Langford? Senator Scott? Senator Hawley? Senator Moreno? Senator Ernst? Senator Moody? Senator Peters?
No.
Senator Hassan?
No.
Senator Blumenthal? No. Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? No. Senator Gallego? No. Senator Slotkin? Senator Paul?
Aye.
9-6. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 9, the nays are 6. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 9, the nays are 6, and the motion to report the nominee is agreed to.
The next nominee will be Christopher Fox, Inspector General of the Intelligence Community, Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson?
Aye.
Senator Langford? Senator Scott? Senator Hawley? Senator Moreno? Senator Ernst? Senator Moody? Senator Peters?
No.
Senator Hassan?
No.
Senator Blumenthal? No. Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? No. Senator Gallego? Senator Slotkin? Senator Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7. On vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 7, and the motion to report the nominee is agreed to.
The final nominee will be Edward O'Connell, Associate Judge, Superior Court of the District of Columbia. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson?
Aye.
Senator Langford? Senator Scott? Senator Hawley? Senator Moreno? Senator Ernst? Senator Moody? Senator Peters?
Aye.
Senator Hassan? Senator Blumenthal? Senator Fetterman? Senator Kim? Senator Gallego? Senator Slotkin?
Sure.
Senator Paul?
Aye.
15. Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 15, the nays are 0. On the vote by proxy and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 0. On this vote, the yeas are 15, the nays are 0, and the motion to report the nominee is agreed to.
Final comment from the minority or the ranking minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to thank Senator Hawley for working with me again to advance this bipartisan legislation that will help ensure that elected officials are serving the public and not their own financial interests. I'd also like to thank Senators Merkley and Ossoff for their leadership on this issue. We would certainly not be here today without their work on the Ethics Act over many years as well. Chairman Paul, I'd also want to say I appreciate you convening today's markup and working through these critical bills today. I'd like to note that our committee Democratic members sent a letter using the 5-member authority to the Justice Department, compelling them to produce documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The American people have a lot of questions about this case, and being transparent with them is the best way to address conspiracy theories and provide full accountability. So, Mr. Chairman, I know you've always been committed to transparency and accountability, and I hope this is an issue that we can work together at some point in the future.
Senator Ernst.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a statement honoring the late Adam Andrzejewski, who worked tirelessly to bring transparency to the issue of government-collected royalties and sadly passed away last year before seeing this effort through.
Thank you. We're adjourned.